Hi, alle sammen. Modal verbs are very important in every language. And it's actually one of the most rewarding things to learn as a beginner. Because if you know how to say, or if you knew how to say maybe 20 sentences, 30 sentences before, learning modal verbs will unlock your ability to communicate so many more things in the language you're learning. So in this video, you'll get all the basics you need to use modal verbs in Norwegian, plus a bunch of exercises at the end. So let's take a look here at the 5 essential modal verbs, the 5 main ones. These are in the present tense, okay? So vil, that's want, skal, will, kan, can, må, must, and bør, should. All right, so we'll go through each of those. First, I want to emphasize an important principle, a couple of important principles, and that is that we always combine a modal verb with an infinitive. This is the same principle in virtually any language that I know of, at least. So, jeg kan spise. That is, I can eat. You don't say I can eats. Or you cannot say yo puedo como in Spanish. Like that's wrong. So it's even a quite common mistake that you that students will combine a modal verb with the present tense. Jeg kan spiser, not correct. Always with the infinitive. Okay. Another principle similar to English is that we do not use the infinitive marker after modal verbs. Okay, so you do not say jeg kan å spise. No. Similar to English, you don't say I can to eat. So you cannot do this. This is a fairly common mistake as well, but you do not do this. You do not do this. Another thing to keep in mind or to notice is that in Norwegian we have modal verbs and they have different forms, and the infinitive and the simple past is always the same. So it's not that many different versions of the word to learn. So that might be helpful. So something to take note of. So the first one is vil or ville. Okay, that's the infinitive. Vil typically in Norwegian means want. Okay, notice how if you say jeg vil spise, I want to eat. Notice how to want is not a modal verb in English. Okay, it's not a modal verb. How do you know that? Well, you know it by looking at the fact that we say to eat. I want to eat. So not a modal verb in English, a modal verb in Norwegian. Okay. Vil probably looks like will, you may think. And that is because, yeah, it does. And it's a false friend, but not always. Because whenever an action, the verb, is involuntary, that is not controlled by the subject, then it actually means the same as will. It does not mean want any longer then. So if you say treet vil falle, the tree will fall. Treet vil falle. Here it's not the tree wants to fall, because frankly, a tree doesn't have the capacity to want anything, arguably. So if you say treet vil falle, it means it's a future, right? It means will. Okay. Another example here is det vil skje. So notice what the subject is here. Det, it. We're not referring to jeg or du or any person, such as like han or hun or like Petter or Mikael or Anne, right? So det cannot have the capacity to want anything. So when there is no such capacity, we understand will to mean will. Okay. So I have another video about that, which you will see on my channel as well. That's a video about the future tense. where I go into more of those details. So if we have vil for desires and involuntary future events, how do we then talk about our plans? For example, I will eat, right? Here we use the word skal, okay? Skal typically refers to controlled or planned actions. So here we're talking about our plans. That's when we use skal. Jeg skal spise is I will eat. Jeg skal jobbe, I will work. Jeg skal til Spania, I will go to Spain. Skal can also mean be supposed to, and that's quite frequently that it means be supposed to. So hvor skal jeg gå doesn't mean where am I planning to go, but where am I supposed to go or walk. And also shall. So you could say shall and be supposed to are kind of synonymous. So skal vi spise? Shall we eat? Skal vi spise? Another modal verb is kan. Kunne, kan. Okay, so this is the same basically as can. Very simple, very similar. We don't really have might and may. They don't really exist as separate words in Norwegian. So kan and kunne. Kan vi spise? Kan vi spise nå? Can we eat now? Må is similar to must or have to. We don't really have the structure have to in Norwegian. We only have må. Okay? So må vi spise? Do we have to eat? Må. The last one is bør, which is should. You may also say burde, which is technically the infinitive or the past tense, but actually you can use these interchangeably most of the time, especially if it's the present tense. You can use it interchangeably. You can say bør vi spise or burde vi spise. Basically means the same thing. Here I have a bunch of exercises for you. I will paste these in the description below as well, and in case they're too small. But here I want you to fill in the blanks, and you can comment in under the video with the right word. So I will work tomorrow, for example. How can we translate this? Take a second and I will tell you. Exactly. It's not will. It's not vil, because it's skal. Why? Well, because it's a plan. I will work tomorrow is a plan. Clearly, you're communicating that that's your intention. So it's jeg skal jobbe I morgen. Okay? Check out the other examples here and try to write your suggestion in the comments. I hope that was helpful. Please write in the comments if you have any questions about this, and please press like and subscribe if the video was valuable.